Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. It's a beautiful day to be alive. God has blessed us. We're either going to learn, find some gains. We may find some pain. But no matter what, we're going to get there. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate all my lifers for being amazing and awesome. Let's take a look. Bitcoin taking a beat down today to the downside. I took a $1,400 to $1,500 loss on my WEEX trade. Beat down. Sammy lost. The S&P trade still in the green, though. Fighting to stay alive. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break all this fun stuff down for you every single day with pure transparency. All coins getting kind of hammered with Bitcoin falling off, even light. Didn't matter what the setup was. The Bitcoin dip kind of took us down. A little bit of an inverted head and shoulder here on the 1 minute time frame. We're digging deep. Was this just a quick little scare? Do we bounce back to the upside? This is a stress test for Bitcoin. You know, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's actually good. We want to see how it can react. The last few times it collapsed, if it can stay strong, get a bit of a bounce here after the initial news, will send it down. You know what I mean? What's the news? You know, Strait of Hormuz, all this nonsense is going on again, putting pressure. Also, the yield going up is putting pressure. The Fed acting hawkish. It just doesn't, it's not giving a good, and the yield, you know, it's not giving a good vibes for risk on assets. Risk on assets are getting a little shaky. Also, there's competition with AI and infrastructure, data centers, and energy. And Bitcoin's kind of battling all that liquidity all at the same time. It's kind of like a huge deal. And in Bitcoin, see, you have to understand, Bitcoin's trying to, not trying, but Bitcoin is attempting to take the entire market share of the world away, not just a piece. Like, even each time it gains more, it can gain more. And each time it can gain more, isn't that interesting? I'm going to say it can gain more. Every single time it goes up, it gets more like, wow, is this going to be the premier? Nothing else has the chance to become the one, like Bitcoin could. This is an inverted head and shoulder. We're looking for a possible pump here, back up to 62,666. It's looking like we may get it as we speak here, live on WEEX. The 1 minute is still below the 200 moving average, but they're going to go after usually the late shorts as we get into the 10 o'clock time after the 9:30 movement. That looks like we're going to pump up to the 200 moving average. I'm not saying it's extremely bullish, but, it's a cup and a handle there. That's your 786 retracement from here. We call that the money printer. Shout out to my man, Master Fran. And there's this, this could break back up here to the 200 moving average. So you can see trading the S&P, still hanging in there. S&P looks like it's going to go on a big move. And that could pay for the loss too. It kind of get me back in there. So not stressed to diversify on different areas of the market. This thing, look, I want to send it back up here to 62,700 for Bitcoin. All right. That's kind of looking like the short-term target. But we'll, and so that's the first thing I want to do is just kind of show you what I see happening on the 1 minute time frame. Now let's kind of take a look at what this did to the bigger picture and what we need to see in the next few weeks to the next few days for Bitcoin. Right off the bat, as I lower this a bit, right off the bat, I want to take a look at this falling wedge here on the monthly that I keep talking about every single day. And to me, yeah, it could be a shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. This could collapse, turn into a red candle, start to dump, break the neckline of the head and shoulder. And this is the neckline here. This is the neckline. If you pull it out, you see 1, 2, 3. The thing about this is I usually take the long side, which would be this wick all the way down to that wick. Even if I just take the short side, You're talking a $2,000, $4,000 Bitcoin. So is Bitcoin going to collapse due to AI and infrastructure and just become something that was forgotten about? Was it just an experiment to collapse people, or is it a bigger picture idea that's going to continue? I believe it's going to continue because they print money, and there's only 21 million Bitcoin. And just like there's only 24,000, 25,000 Hurricanes because they only made 2,400 a year or some 2,500 a year for 10 years. From 2014 to 2024. They'll never make a Huracan again. So if you have a Lamborghini Huracan, and specifically a 610 LP four-wheel drive, you're in a class of cars that's likely not going to lose value anymore because they don't make them anymore. You see what I'm saying? If you buy the right Huracan or the right car at the right time, it could pay you to buy it. You got to be really, that's when it comes to supercar. And it comes to, and that has everything to do with everything. Oh my gosh, look at this. Seconds, Bitcoin collapses. In seconds. Literally, it's as if someone sneezed on it. In seconds, Bitcoin goes from 62.39 all the way down to 62,000. In seconds. That was like 4 to 5 seconds, that move right there. The volatility. Look at the S&P fighting to stay alive. The bounce back to the upside. The volatility is insane. This is False Move Monday at its finest, folks. Be very careful out here. They got me on my long-term trades. It is what it is. But I'm not going to sit here and get chopped up again on the smaller time frames, Wow, what a melee. What a mess. And to all my students and people that take, the trade with me, we didn't take out this low, technically. Right? And when you trade a bigger picture idea, that could be you could say I was playing it a little too risky or close to the bone, but they didn't take out this low yet. We could still bounce back above the 200 moving average. Like, by the end of the day, we could bounce back. We did lose the trend line, in my humble opinion. When trend lines are crossed, I like to get out of trades. That's when because to me, this is invalidated. Like, this was supposed to break out. We were supposed to wake up this morning with a breakout. Good news, bullish news for the Strait of Hormuz. Trump was supposed to say it's all closed down and ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what happened, right? So it is what it is, right? And here's a minute ago from Donald Trump. Just, this is fresh off the press. 1 minute. The Hormuz Strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade. So name because it's only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair, open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point on, as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. But as such as the matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this volatile section of the world. The process of formation will begin immediately. Wow. So he's saying it doesn't matter. They can't do a dang thing. He's basically saying, watch me. Watch me. Let's see what happens. This is breaking news within the last few minutes. He say the strait will remain open regardless. That should pump Bitcoin right back up. And honestly, trading on this wartime information is insane. Let's see if the 1 minute reacts to the tweet. It did. Look, we went right back to the upside on the tweet. That's insane, right? A Donald Trump tweet right back to the upside. This is an insane game of prediction markets, textbook trades based off, basically tweets and motion, dialogue tweets, dialogue trading. So look, and again, to me, it's all about the moving averages. We get back above that 200, I'm ready to long again. And look at that. You can kind of see what it did. It slightly defied what was starting to become like a sloppy head and shoulder pattern there that could have actually gone lower. Wow, look at the move back. This is nuts, huh? I mean, it's awesome. Let me show you how to handle this stuff. You calm down, you go to the 5-second chart. This is what you do. All right? You get really, and when the 5-second gets above the 200 moving average, that's bullish. You start to draw flags and start to project. And you're like, why the 5-second? Well, the 5 second is going to give you the indication that we're actually moving back to the upside. The 5-second collapses right back below the 200 here, we're in trouble. The bulls. But if we start to kind of consolidate here above the 21 of the 200, then there's a chance the 30-second does the same thing. If the 5, and then eventually that will bleed into the 1 minute crossing the 200, which will be the 5 minute crossing the 200. And that'll turn this into being kind of like an inverted head and shoulder. So people do different things. Some people might get in here with a stop here, trade the 5 minute, never look at another time frame. Some people like me might use the 1 minute to get in. Might use the 30 second and trade the 30 second twice or 3 times while you wait on the 5. You know what I mean? Or someone else, or I wait on the 5. Just anybody, Someone might might long right now the 15 with a stop below this wick. It just tweezer bottom this puppy here. Just say, you know what? I believe I'm going to catch a falling knife right here. It's a crazy long. There's a chance it does play out after all the insanity. I patiently might wait for the right show. If it does that, then you'd think it would have a V-shaped recovery, and then like getting in around here with a stop below there is even better. But again, you would have to wait till possibly 3 o'clock in the afternoon for that to occur. Some people don't want to do that. Some people can't do that. Some people don't have the time to wait, or some people don't have no patience. Patience to them is something that doesn't exist, right? So key is to stay calm, cool, and collected, and know that there's going to be an opportunity waiting for you at one point, and the trade will come to you. Many traders got obliterated today. I saw a lot of guys that were long last night in multiple coins, and I can only imagine what happened to those positions. You know what I mean? I opened no altcoin positions. I put out some trades that look good for the trading group, last night. I said, man, these look good. But I said, I don't like trading on Sunday night. Sunday night is extremely volatile. I'd be careful. And then we, and basically Sunday night into Monday. And I open my trades. My favorite time to really begin trading, 7, 8 o'clock Monday night. I don't know why, sometimes the daily close, sometimes a little before, sometimes later, but sometime between 6 and 10 o'clock. I begin to really start to I've made most of my money Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. I've learned that now after years and years of trading. When I get real old, I'll probably just really only trade those sections of time. What I do is I always look at the market, because every once in a while there's a Saturday setup that blasts, a Sunday setup, you know what I mean? So, and I learned that if I take time off, I'm not as sharp on the hot days too. So if I'm here 7 days a week, I'm able to see things that people miss. It's a labor of love. You've got to love TA to do it as much as I do. You can't do it for the money. If you do it for just the pure money, I did it for the love, of the money came after that. Now I can keep doing it no matter how much money I make. I could have a horrible week where I could have an amazing week. I don't do it for the money anymore. I do it for the love of what I'm doing. I'm in love with the moment. I'm in love with the journey. I know there's no true destination. This channel never has a true destination. We have goals in life. We all do. But there's no real true destination, folks. If you're not in love with the journey, you're not going to make it. That's a harsh reality. That's something that hurts some people to think about. Because we all think as humans, you play a game, the game ends. But the game of life really never ends until you die, and then that's when it ends. And we don't even know when that's going to happen. So it's an open-ended book that we just participate in. And it's kind of it's crazy. Everyone thinks everyone's so risky, but life itself is risky, man. You don't even know what could happen tomorrow. It seems like we'll be good. My mom and dad got to live until their 70s. They saw their kids all live past their 40s. They never saw one of their kids pass away. They lived a good life. They paid, they had no debt. Life got better for them as they got older. It's just, and whatever. I'm not going to get into it. God bless my mom and dad. They're not here with us anymore. If you have your mom and dad in your life, please call them today at the end of the day and say, hey, Mom, I love you. Hey, Dad, I love you. Even if they've been rude to you, even if you find it hasn't been perfect, just give them a call. Say, I love you. Miss you. Just want to let you know, thank you for everything you've done for me. You may not get the chance to do it one day, and you may wish you did. I'm telling you so bad. Don't be that person I wish I called my mom. I haven't called her in weeks. I haven't called my dad in months, man. Give your dad a call today. I know if I'm talking to you, it means I am, man. If that voice of mine is digging in your head and you're like, dang, man, that hurts, bro. Why are you doing that? That means you need to call your mom and dad. All right? Do the right thing, bro. And women out there, men and girls, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Anyway, let's get back to the charts. I'm not here to be Dr. Phil. Sorry about that. Looks a bit of a diamond. Can't you see that diamond vibe to the upside here? So, Stratohumus is back open again. No worries, right? We can long this thing on the 15-minute and call it a day and get a move back to the upside. Right? I mean, that's what it says. It says we could take this tweezer bottom long and go for it. We got the close, and that's a bullish engulfing candle. Now, I don't love that we're below the 200 on the 1 minute. And I don't love it's a 1.7. We'd have to get back to the 200 moving average there on the 15-minute. Back to 63.8. Is this really a Monday morning long on the 15? Catching a fallen knife over here. Make all my losses back. Damn, it just pumped a lot. It just pumped like $150 as I attempted to enter the trade. I don't like this candle. It's like a little bit above me. Like, as far as 50-minute candles go, it's pretty big. Like the range of it, right? And it already had a huge wick, and I'd feel like I'd be buying the top of this candle. A lot of volume came in there, though. You see that? A lot of volume. Tells you there's a good big buy. That's a big buy there. And the big buy really might help us out. Keep us above the area. I start small after I take a hit. So we go 3 for 793. Can't even get 3 for 9 on that one. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough trade. We're going for the bottom. If not, then it collapses. It goes further down. Then we look for shorts. You know, I look for it to kind of consolidate again. And we look for shorts maybe in an hour or two. We'll go on this Trump tweet that we're going to get this reversal back to the upside here for Bitcoin. Live trading here on WEEX. Shout out to the WEEX team. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for everyone out there that supports this entire lifer community. You know, you guys give cool, awesome USDT. What do they call them? Like, they just hook people up, man. If you hit a certain types of volume, they always do cool campaigns. I appreciate it. Let's see what happens, man. A high risk today on a Monday. I don't feel great about it, but, counter trading the herd too. A lot of people in fear now. We'll see if we can get this bounce off the Trump tweet, which we all kind of already did. Bullish engulfing candle on the 15. Secondary candle closing and 1 minute and 57 seconds. If it closes like that, that's pretty strong. With a big wick for the upside, suggests we can get this shoulder, right shoulder, and possibly move back up there to 64,000. We get back to 64 today, it's kind of like, water off a duck's back, right? Fear and Greed still at 28, telling us this is a great time to purchase BTC. Grabbed, more Bitcoin last night, showed the trading group, got about, 28K more Bitcoin, just grabbed it up, decided it's a good time to buy BTC in these low areas, especially with all the fear coming. Like, this is good fear buying in my humble opportunity. So 28, it was at 5 twice with the stochastics low. That was the time to gobble up BTC. And again, I have leverage trading back and forth. I day trade. It's fun. But the big money is the long-term investing into BTC over a 10-year period. That's where I made all the bigger money, and that's why I'll continue to do so. So I'm planning for the future big time. That's not easy to do. You have to extrapolate your life. You can't be greedy. You have to know that some of the money you're going to make isn't going to come in 5 years, 4 years. It's going to come in 10 years. A lot of people can't handle that. Like at 43 years old, I'm going to be 53. But you know what? I picture myself. I go to dinner a lot and I see older men. And I could see older men, like I just glance. And every once in a while, you can't judge every book by its cover. You never know. Someone could have that. But there's times where I see a guy and I could just tell the guy's, I see a boat pull up. He's sitting with his buddy smoking a cigar and he's like 54. And I'm like, that guy is like at least 10x my net worth. You know what I mean? His boats like cost as much as almost both my houses combined. You know what I mean? Like this dude's worth like in the 50s to 100 mil. So like whatever. No, and I'm not saying your money makes you. I'm just saying I do look at people. I observe people around me, and I'm like, dude. And so I project to be that dude. Like I see myself at 54 years old, tipping the waitress, which I do now. But continuing to be nice, continuing to have abundance. And to do that, I got to have investments that I'm looking forward to. I said, how did I get here? I said, well, I was looking for investments 10, 12 years ago. And I wasn't greedy, and I was patient with the investment. I said, now I'm where I am, And so, like, long-term investments are interesting, too, because they feel like they come out of nowhere. You plug away at them for so long, you never realize, like, what's going to come out of them, right? So we're getting another little bit of a bounce. Not much of a wick, but it was a small wick. It was enough to create some type of movement there at the candle meetings. This gave us a little bit of a bounce. We'll see. First thing that has to is we hit the 21 on the 15. Right? And as I showed you, then the 1 minute has to come and crack the 200 moving average. Once the 1 minute cracks the 200, things start to make sense. And look, the diamond that we found really is playing out. And it was a diamond too. I mean, it really was. I mean, that's a whipsaw in the middle. You came in kind of from the top, says you will leave out the top. Not the best diamond, but it was a diamond. I call it a drunken diagonal moving diamond, however you want to call it. This is where the 30-second comes into play. So let's kind of switch to the 30-second for a split second. We're going to get back to the long-term analysis. I just want to keep you guys kind of locked in here. So see, we lock into the 30-second. This is why the 30-second has, a place in my heart, a place in my trading style. Now, I don't trade it a lot. I would have to trade the 30-second for hundreds and thousands of days, time and time again, like I've traded the 1 minute. I haven't done that. Because I haven't done that, I don't put a lot of faith in the 30-second. To have faith in anything, I need to be able to do it time and time again. However, this setup, I don't really care the time frame it's on, plays out. Yes, they stop hunted us today, but I will tell you, the pattern we were playing with was a bilateral pattern. I will tell you this. I know. No, but I have to be honest with you, and I am always honest. The ascending triangle, as beautiful as it is, as nice as it is, it's a 50-50, man. And they break it down and pump it, or break it up and, Let's talk about lighter. Remember when I said on the stream yesterday, I said, look out for them to come down and stop hunt. So they may come and grab this area here for liquidity. And I circled it. I didn't circle this when this was here. I circled this before it happened. I said, might even bounce off the 200, I said, be careful because it's Sunday night or heavy volatile. And look, that's kind of what they did. I said, they might double bottom this thing. It's exactly what they did. Is that the time to get into lighter now? Could this be an epic double bottom buy? I mean, it is a double bottom. Take a look at your daily, though. The daily's a little far from the 21. I would flag out the daily. I still like lighter because you know what? The fundamentals are there. I haven't entered the trade yet. Last night I was already in Bitcoin trades and I didn't, I knew we were in, heavy risk. So I waited to get in. So look at that 30 seconds skyrocketing to the upside. So now we have more Dow. See, now we're kind of babysitting the trade here. You see? It's not up huge. It's up $60, but we're, we get above this boom. We make this trade back. We get basically half our losses back. We reconnect and we kind of start fresh again. You see what I'm saying? We'll see what happens. But I scared money make no money. If I don't trade at all, there's no, we were at an extreme sell-off. So there's a good chance you get a bit of a bounce. So look, that's what's supposed to happen. When the 21 is above the 200 and you consolidate, you're supposed to get a breakout. Now, lately, when the market's good, these all break out like 70%. 70% of the time, they break out to like 70% of the target. When the market's iffy, like 50% of the time, they break out. When the market sucks, like a lot of times we're getting, what I've noticed is we're getting this pump, a little bit of something, and then like it comes back down, makes a head and shoulder, or we get a pump, We're not getting the follow through on the patterns like we were getting before. Because it's the summer, it's lower volume. There seems to be someone selling every time someone's buying, and it's back and forth. See, look at this. We're getting this a lot every time. I'm seeing this a lot. A beautiful breakout. It looks right. That's why you never buy the breakout. At least if you use my system, you'll be buying inside the pattern. You will be up. At this point, you have a chance to put the stop loss to break even. And at this point, when we come back and bounce, you're still on the money right here. You're above your buy. So now you can say, okay, what do I do? And you have a chance. But if you do the breakout, look, you're already down, and there's a chance if you buy this, your stop loss is there, and you're very close. Don't buy breakouts, please, folks. Buying the breakout, it's the worst. Some people called the training wheels. I remember the first trading group I joined, they were like, we buy the breakout. And I was like, what? And I basically eventually took that information from the group and eventually changed my style. I said, I never buy the breakout. I learned it was the worst time to buy anything. You know what I mean? Sometimes the sad thing is you could buy this breakout, like you could buy this green candle, put a stop loss below this wick, and look, there's a chance it pays you. The problem is when people do something bad and it plays out the first few times, it's like, because there's probability involved. Sometimes the other probability doesn't work, but it's the bad probability. Like, see, what if something is 7 out of 10 times if you were to do it a lot? But the first time you do it, it's the 3 out of 10 and it plays out. So you go against, and then you start doing that. Next thing you know, you have you chew through your portfolio because the probabilities were never there to begin with. And that's another problem with trading. It takes a long time to get aligned. With a system and a plan that you like, it takes a long time to get aligned. It's not overnight. It's something you work at time and time again. till you eventually get into a mode. But look at this. I mean, they gave it up, gave it all back. Now you can see a shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. Now you could, so you can already see, problems in the plumbing. And then look, the 1 minute 200 moving average. I mean, that's when you know, I mean, again, we made a good move. We bounced up to the 200. I don't know why, but the 200s are always going to be places of bounces and places of rejection. Time and time again. You hit that 200 rejection. Now we need to see what's going on. Can Bitcoin hold the previous levels it just made? Resistance here, resistance there. Can it bounce? If it can bounce itself into some type of flag and get back above the 200, or is it going to turn itself into some type of head and shoulder descending debacle here and just kind of dump further down? We'll see. People are starting not to, God bless our president. I say things with a grain of salt, and they're not even my personal, views. They're just kind of how I see people looking at things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could see something that I don't think is a threat, but be like, I think a lot of people think this is a threat. I don't see it as a threat, but I think a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to say something. I don't want it to be misconstrued. I wonder if I should say it, but I think some people are starting not to listen to these tweets. Like, they're like, dude, you told us it was open, then it's closed, then it's open, then it's closed, then it's open, then it's closed. And people are starting to be like, you know what I'm saying? So and again, I believe he's going to open and do what he says. And I think positively that things are going to go well there. They're going to handle it. It's going to move well. He said he sank all their ships. Let's find out. If they've sank as many ships as we said, which I believe we did, I don't think it's a lie, then they shouldn't be able to do a dang thing. And we should be able to, we should right now show our dominance. A lot of people said, if you're so tough, how come you can't just keep the straight arm? You know, so maybe this will kind of tell the rest of the world that, yeah, this is it. No more, But why wasn't this the thing in the first place? Like, why does it take all the way to this? Like, I thought this was the whole thing. There's a lot of questions that leave people unanswered, and it's, So look, previous support of resistance, we need to see a bounce here, some type of consolidation, get back above the 200. Stochastics RSI have come to oversold. MACD's a little big right now. We can shrink that down, taking up some space. Choppiness, look at that. Bullish engulfing candle could close in the 1 minute in 32 seconds. How do you know that? Right here, you right-click and hit countdown to bar close. You're going to go to labels. Let me do this slow for you. You're going to this has a hidden menu. You're going to right-click this. You're going to go down to labels. You're going to go over to countdown to bar close. Wow, look at the size of that candle. Was there another tweet? Let's just see if anything else came out there on Truth Social. It's good to have your Truth Social account open at all times. All right, here's another bullish tweet came out. In honor of Senator Lindsey Graham, a big supporter of the U.S. Senate should pass the Clarity Act. China and other countries would like to take complete and total control of this major financial happening as well as AI. Where we are now leading, but where they are fighting hard. Don't let China win in either subject, President Donald Trump. He's saying if he's basically national security. Without saying it, he's telling you that it's national security that we get the Clarity Act passed. I mean, it's a tweet. Nonetheless, look at the pump that comes from the Clarity tweet. What's happening is people are programming bots to trade off of tweets. And they're buying and selling when Donald Trump tweets something. It's facts. I mean, we got the tweet here. This is when he tweeted the Strait of Hormuz is open. This is when he tweeted right here. Okay. This is what's happening. We're getting the bounce. Again, TA, it's off the 21. 30-second bounced off what? The 200 moving average. The 1 minute got rejected by what? The 200 moving average. It doesn't matter what tweets are coming out. If we didn't see any of these tweets, my system and the way I teach you would play out. The way we're bouncing off moving averages. The way the 21 is touching. Now we want to see this turn into some type of consolidation. Something like this. Consolidation means price goes up and down in a tight area. That's all. Price action goes up and down inside a tight area. This would be consolidation. Price pumps, consolidation. When it's pumping, that's not consolidation. That's pumping. When it's sideways and contending right there, that's consolidation. All right. This is consolidation. Boom. It usually consolidates near or on the 21-day moving average. You'll see this a lot. You'll notice this if you use my strategies. How to add my indicator. Go up here, type Lifer 5MA. Hit that. You'll get the Lifer 5MA added to your chart. All right. Man, once that's on your chart, just go to the settings and take off the plot. Click, click. You're going to get the white 21, the red 50, the 80 purple, the blue 100, and the yellow 200 moving average. Okay. You can take off the fill. You don't need it if you don't want it to as well. Just adds a little bit of, So there you have it. And this will give you the moving averages that I use. When they get tight, things start to kind of... This is telling us Bitcoin's getting ready for a possible... they're going to pull up and get tight and possibly push us back up to 63K. I like the way the moving averages are starting to behave. We'll see if we get this bounce and they might squeeze these shorts. We'll see, though. Still could be a double top. There's resistance now at 62,675 for Bitcoin. Let me jump into the chat, see how the chat is doing. God bless all my lifers. Want to see my familiar friends and faces out here? Feel like I can see your faces even if I can. Shout out to everyone kicking it with me on these tough summer days. 2020 will be a good year for the markets. 4-hour 200 watching for a close above it. That's what we need, yep. Exactly. I'm 90% sure he'll open the long before he tweets, right? Long it, tweet it, boom, sell it. Shout out to Tennessee Eco, man. I haven't seen you in a long time. You've probably been here, but just nice to see your name. Shout out to John James Power. I've been watching for a long time. Shout out to Dion Fresh. Shout out to MK Buzz. Shout out to the people that shorted hard, too, man. I made good money shorting. Just because I lost it, it doesn't mean that I'm happy for your shorts. God bless the shorts, man. People that took it down. And let's get the comments ripping. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Put where you're from. I'm Sam from Boston. Put your name, or you don't have to put your name, but you could put, hey, Chicago, Sri Lanka, where you're from. Let me know where you're from in the world here in the chat. Tell the world where you represent. Is it Spain? Is it Costa Rica? Is it Brooklyn? Is it Boston? Is it Florida? Is it Clearwater? Is it Germany? Long it, tweet it, dumb. I don't know. We got a guy from Phoenix here. He's the first guy to let it go. Let me know. North Cal. We got North Cal. My man. EcoLeaf. St. Paul. Pearl Harbor. Indiana. Winnipeg. Singapore. Mexico. Susan from San Diego. Right? Bulgaria. The Balkans. Ocala, Florida. Hey. I want to check out Ocala. I'd like to visit you out there, man. The Fib Buller. I'd like to come visit, man. Iguatama. The Netherlands. Colorado. Hi from Egypt. Chicago. Saudi Arabia. Shout out to Savvy, the best teacher alive. God bless you, man. John James from London. John from Connecticut, New England, Mozambique, Branson, Netherlands. Wow. Wyoming. Portugal. Germany. Bangalore, India. Eastern Penn, New Hampshire. Wow. Dude. Brockton, City of Champions, tough town. Serbia, Georgia, be the warning the chance of the interest rates will be raised this year, and that's bad for gold and Bitcoin. Yep. Prince Edward Island, Miami, Florida, Wyoming. We may get capitulation, folks. There may be a move down to 40K. I'm telling you, the indicators that I use are screaming that we've bottomed already. This is all just kind of, we got to dance around throughout the summer. I told you, we got to go sideways throughout all of July. The candle's already big as it can be. Candle can't much. The July candle ain't going to get much bigger. I want to talk about all that. Winnipeg, Alberta, Suriname. Wow. Lifers United, Boca Raton. Boca Raton, the divorce capital of the world over here. Sorry, no. It is, though, right? No, I'm just. What? Sorry. No, beautiful town. That's where you buy a boat, man. Everyone's distressed. Hey, get rid of my boat. My wife was on. This is where she cheated on me. Sarasota, baby. You're keeping it clean down there for me. Coleman Beach, so when I get back, the sand is perfect. I appreciate that. You guys are the best. These summer months are brutal with war news. Oh, man, it's tight. You got war news, low volume. It's a disastrous time, you know what I mean? So, hey, I made 10 grand last week. I lost a couple grand this week. It's okay. We're still up on the overall month. We just got to keep battling through the month. Find out where we end up. Could end up being the biggest month of my life. You never know, man. 32nd looks like it wants to do damage. It says the long. I mean, it's in the... That's what's crazy about why we didn't hit today on the 4 hour. 4 hours perfect, man. It was ready to go. Looks like we're going to win this, the S&P trade. And I've still got the weekly and the monthly trades open, too. Like, I didn't close my big boys. We'll see. Oh, the S&P filter, flattering around, though. It was looking better. Let's see what happens here. The rejection of the 200, or can we get back above it now? It would be nice if we get the pump. Then we could pull the 200 with us. Remember, we ended up getting in on this 15-minute reversal. And so far, so good. I mean, it's been going well. Chance we did call this bottom here, or, I don't even say, chance we took a high probability call and we were able to get in near the bottom. Everyone's like, I called the bottom. I did this, I did that. I mean, who cares about our egos, guys? Like, we took a probability based on math. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, look at my call. Look at what I did. And I'm always like, if I went on everything I did, I made thousands of calls in my life, I guess. But let's take a look at Ethereum. And you may be right there with a piece of information. ETH looks okay. It double bottomed on the daily. It's above the daily 21. Look at the 4 hour. It didn't lose its 200 moving average on the 4 hour. So 100% agreed. I want to, and again, if Bitcoin can bounce, if this ends up just being a bunch of, like if tomorrow we show our military prowess and Iran just sits back as we just completely dominate. Another thing that I keep saying, I mean, look, this is an Adam and Eve double bottom. If everything plays out, I'll make so much more on my monthly and weekly than I will even, look, 777s right there. Oh my goodness, 777s. That's crazy. It happens almost every time. It's been a while. And then it sits there too whenever I hold it. Look at it. It's just going to stay there. Watch this turn to 7-2 and it'll be all 7s. That'll be nuts, right? Show me all 7s, baby. Then 99. Like all 7s. That'd be crazy if it goes all 7. Look at it. It did it. It did it. It did it. It did it. I called it into existence and it happened. You saw it. You saw it. You saw the 5 7s. Who saw that? People think he's nuts. But it happened exactly when I called it into existence. The number, it's like my dad waving at me through this, like it's a simulation or something, and my dad's pushing a button on the other side. He's telling me, I got you, son. My dad loved the 7s. He sat at a bar called 77 on 77 Beacon Street, called the 7s. He had a car. He covered it in the number 77. He never talked about it. He never was like, Sam, I love this number. He just did it all the time. Right before he died, I started seeing the number 77. I'm telling you right now. And then look at it, sits right there again for me. And then when he died, I saw it all the time. And I used to see 333 on this channel, never 77. And you say, fine, I'm just seeing the number and it's a random number. 77 happens, dude. You're attaching yourself to it. So what? And you know what? I'll say that's fine too. But it's all an ethereal space of time through a vibrational connection of numbers. And there's more to it than anything I think anyone realizes. Wow, the 777's sitting there on Ethereum. It's like, look at, there they are again. It just flashed. So anyway, the quadruple 7s, bro. People are putting in orders at 777. They like it. They like that order area. One more time. That would be crazy. So we're looking for a bounce for Ethereum with a higher low, which tells me that Bitcoin probably handles this pretty well. I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum goes on a tear. Could be a really nice DCA into Ethereum or a place to begin a position. We're above the 200 on that 21, folks. ETH BTC is starting to play out better. We're getting all the indications that Ethereum is the chosen one right now, getting picked to be kind of accumulated a little more. This could be a beautiful trade for Ethereum. I'd watch this, and this could be redemption for everything, really. The key is that you got about a 4-to-1 risk-reward ratio. You can put yourself below the 200 moving average. It's not ridiculous we could get to 21.28. It's not like such a crazy high level. I mean, ETH looks interesting to me for sure. Highly agree. Could have the only reason I click on the stream today is because I saw 77 viewers on my TV. That's crazy, bro. Shout out to Luke 4211. Those 777 signs are real. You should watch the Diary of a CEO interview on Afterlife Signs and Intuition. Thank you, man. I mean, ever since I changed my life and started going after things in a more like spiritual way, I started seeing 77s all the time, man. It's just if it was like being called to me or so. I don't know. But man, ETH is starting to look pretty good too. So you want to focus. Everyone's focused on the fear, not on the opportunity. If you take a deep breath and say, I'm the opportunity, you realize there's opportunity today. There's things out here that if you don't pay attention will pass you by. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin trade. How we doing right here on the live trade that we just made? Up about 4%. It's not amazing. I'm not like tooting to the moon here. But I'm not as high risk as some other people either. I keep it kind of, So we did get back above the 200. That's key. So now you kind of draw this out yet again, and you're like, now we just want the same behavior over and over again. It's weird. This becomes boring. Now, I got to say it is somewhat boring, but watching price action to me is always interesting. So it never gets boring, but the system is the same. We do the same thing over and over again. Now, we also know, look, this could be a shoulder, head, right shoulder. You might just get a dump reject. It's been acting crazy this morning. Very, to buy right now is gutsy, but it is kind of the 21 touching the 200. Like it's not the, the worst. That get into becoming 8 and it's a high risk buy. Like but it's a very good return if it plays out. That's why it's high risk, because it's like you get all the sauce. You get basically a 4.3 to 1 risk reward ratio. 200 for $800, 100 for $432. Like, if you even get a little, if you're willing to, you get a 5 to 1 now. Now, I don't like to do that. I like to be I like to be less risky and get less reward. And the S&P long, we're going to talk about why I long the S&P in a second and break that down. Still monitoring True Social right here every kind of second as news keeps coming in. So right now, in the last half an hour, we were there within a minute of this tweet. Hormuz Strait is open, will remain open. And then this came in probably like, we were in within 10 minutes. And this was about within a few minutes, probably 2 minutes. Maybe even as it happened, he talked about Lindsey Graham and he connected Lindsey Graham to the Clarity Act, right? It's almost like, I'm not saying he does this. They seem like they're honest, but, people say, hey, dude, if I connect 9 minutes ago, I recommend Governor Hermaster and Lindsey Graham's wonderful sister, Darlene, to serve as interim senator for the great senator of South Carolina. This would be a fabulous tribute to Lindsey, who loved it dearly. Wow, interesting. It's amazing to get someone that believed in what he believed in to take up the reins, right? Is that really an ad for? It's so funny, right? They put ads for singles underneath this. It's so funny, man. Dream single. You see that? So crazy. So here we stand. You know what I mean? It's back to the bigger picture. Let me jump out of here now that we're kind of in the sauce. And you can learn a lot through just watching the stream every day, because what we show on the small time frames does play out on the big over time. So remember, we went over this as a falling wedge. We talked about that if it's a head and shoulder, it goes somewhere down to like $4,000, and it's almost unrealistic. Saying that it's almost like a shoe-in that we bought on, but then you look, and you gotta just take a deep breath when it comes to Bitcoin. Everyone wants the answer today and now. It never comes now. Weeks later, you always look back and realize what happened. You got to play, and the fear gets in your head. So this is what happens. The fear and greed gets everyone's emotional. Cloudiness happens, and next thing you know, all the opportunity disappears. They look back and we're like, dang. I wish that, you know what I mean? I wish I had paid attention to the fear and used it for my advantage and not got gobbled up. So what I do is I just slowly accumulate Bitcoin when people aren't paying attention here. And then I up my trades and go harder when the market is far more amazing. So I don't have to put myself in heavy risk to make bigger money. I can keep my capital on the sidelines. I can put it into real estate. I can do other things with it, creating cash flow. And as that cash flow comes in, I can continue to diversify, and then when the market's right, I can begin to deploy. I'm sitting on a lot of cash right now, honestly. I'm not trying to tell people how much because that's rude, but I'm sitting on a lot of cash. I really am. And I'm waiting, again, I'm DCing into Bitcoin. I'm doing my thing, but I'm waiting for better opportunities for trading too. And I'm looking at uranium enrichment. I'm looking at alternative energy sources for data centers. I think there's big money in that. I love Bitcoin. I like what Bitcoin's doing. But I believe I got my Bitcoin position. Someone could say you could never have enough Bitcoin. And maybe I'll look back and say, damn, I wish I never speculated on those data center infrastructure. I wish I just stuck to Bitcoin. Maybe. I don't know. I'm happy about the real estate that I bought. If I didn't buy it, I wouldn't have these memories with my family. I'd be wondering where to be. I'd be renting everywhere all the time and not having anything of my own, And I wouldn't be learning the process of how to rent or make an Airbnb. And so, say you would have made 10 million on Bitcoin, but you make 3 million on an Airbnb. You know what? Sometimes it's funner to actually make the money touching something. People say, no, it's all about the money. I want to make more. I did nothing and I made more money. My life isn't about money. It's really about experiences, If you have enough, 3 to 10, I get it. And again, I look at everything as an investment opportunity cost. But the point is, I didn't put every single penny I ever earned into Bitcoin. I put a good amount. For years, I did. I put 90% to 100. I put 90% of my money into Bitcoin for years. I did it for 10 to 12 years. And now I don't. Now I put in 20 to 25%. I don't put everything I have into Bitcoin anymore. I diversify. I really do. I'm being honest. But I also made my nest egg of Bitcoin that I believe is substantial, and I worked at it for a long period of time. And that means, too, that I don't get paid off of that money immediately right now. Remember, I did this channel for free for years, folks. I did this stream every day without ever having a Discord that paid me, without ever having anything that brought any extra money, and I did it for free, day in and day out. I had no exchange links, I had no connections, I knew nobody. I just showed up and did TA because I loved it. I didn't know there was even ways I didn't even know all the ways you could make money as a YouTuber. I didn't know. I just wanted to be online. Very innocent the way I started my channel. I'm very innocent and naive. Very just you know what? I'll do something with my life. And I never knew I was going to become this guy that did it every day. I never knew this was going to happen and the stream was going to do what it did. Never in my life, folks. This all happened the way it happened. Yeah, so the 1 minute gets the pump now. So now we got to wait. There was the entry too. That was an aggressive entry. It did play out so far. We'll see. Still don't trust Mondays, but this is, remember? Look, that's kind of a shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. You can see the inverted head and shoulder there. Breaks up. So this would tell me this is now a nice little trade cooking. Doesn't always come back down to the pattern, but you'd like it to do. That would be the ideal entry. Sometimes it keeps the pumping, but eventually I just keep resetting this kind of structure until the 21 bends makes price bend. It's almost kind of parabolic. Let's see if something else came out. You never know. All bullish tweets, somewhat connected. Look at the 30-second, the inverted head and shoulder. And look, the original flag did play out after some shenanigans. You could say this was the bigger picture. Now we're in a bit of a rising wedge. You can see your next order of business and your next target there. So yeah, we used a few different time frames to kind of juggle what's happening to price today. Right? We used a 15-minute, but then I kept monitoring price of the small time frames, and I didn't get chopped up. I wasn't like, oh, this was this. The 1 minute says this, and the 3 minutes says, no. They all kind of aligned. They all started to show us what was happening. It was a calm, cool, and collective idea here to get in, despite it. And I usually don't trade Mondays. And maybe this will come down and dump in my face. I'm always open-minded. Look, I see a half of a head and shoulder that could take me down. I'm always watching. And I'm always watchful. And I'm always, and I want to not drink the Kool-Aid. I want to get off the Kool-Aid. I want to drink my Kool-Aid at the beginning. You got to drink your Kool-Aid at the middle. You know what I mean? Which is your system. All right, I see a long. I'm taking the long. You're drinking your Kool-Aid. Once you drink your Kool-Aid and you set your long, don't drink the Kool-Aid and say, well, what if it's not the way I think it is? What if it is a head and shoulder that dumps on me? Can I handle the loss? Did I use proper risk management? And all this stuff needs to be kind of together. All right. Thank you, God. Thank you, Sammy. Your humility is contagious. God bless you, man. We must stay humble no matter what in our lives, no matter how much money I've ever made in my life, no matter how the biggest wins I've ever had. You know, some crazy win. I'll write a book one day and tell people about what actually happened to me. I don't think they'll ever believe it unless I put it in writing, man. But it's been an amazing journey. Like, I put my head to the, I put my head down. I started grinding. I dedicated myself to God and family and to the community that I built. And I don't even know how we got this far. I really don't. To this day, I'm amazed every single time. I look at all the different suits I have and all the different fun things I can wear. It's just nuts to me. The whole thing is insane. But, you know, I dreamed it up in my mind, and I did always want to live a life where I got to wear all fun. I always wanted to, my dad had a bunch of different suits, and he always looked good. You should emulate your father somewhat, I hope, if you had a good dad. Maybe there's some bad things you learn from your dad, and there's some good things. There's some things you don't want to do that your dad did that were bad habits. It's okay, you learn from them. You aim to become better. I could see this thing getting tight off the 21, previous resistance. A bounce off support there. One word, sincere is who you are. Hey, I don't know, man. I don't even like to, I don't want to be labeled as this. I just want to be me. No, but I appreciate you. God bless you. Yeah, but other people are like, saying, can you check Pepe, please? I never want to say it. I just want to be it. That's all I mean, I think, by what I'm saying. A lot of people talk a good game, but I just want to show up every day, put my best foot forward. Put the likes up to the watchers, everybody. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. As the market got hammered today. Around the world, too, folks. It's not, today wasn't just a regular day. It was a big beatdown. Let me go over some of the things that I put out here on my South Korea market shockwave. Benchmark index crashed more than 8% intraday, triggering a market-wide circuit breaker and a 20-minute trading halt. It's the seventh time the brakes have been pulled this year. Samsung and SK Hynix led the sell-off, down 9.3%, making up roughly half the index and heavily tied to the global AI memory demand. Yikes. U.S. spot ETF snapped out of their outflow streak, 197 million in net outflows for the week, and net inflows for the week, ending in July 10th. First time we've had inflows in a long time, folks, ending in 8 to 9 weeks of several $1 billion in outflows. BlackRock's IBIT led the inflows, institutional buying, even when price dipped on geopolitics. This signals potential return demand that can help stabilize and support prices going forward. That's, and this is why this is a stress test for Bitcoin today. It's kind of, today is like, can Bitcoin handle this geopolitical unrest now? If it can fight through this, kind of continue to push forward and shrug it off, hold its 60K level and begin to build a base, it's telling us that today could actually be the beneficiary. Everyone thinks that these red days are the worst. Sometimes they're the best because what they do is they tell you where the bottom actually is. It's like drilling. Say you're drilling for a certain ore and you have to keep going lower. Once you hit it, you don't have to drill no more. It's kind of like eventually Bitcoin's looking for liquidity. It's looking for where the demand zone is. It keeps going down. Eventually it's going to find a place where the whole world decides it's worth buying, and it's not going to be able to go any lower. That's all that's happening right now. We're looking for the demand zone. Look at this possible possible head and shoulder here that could break you down. Sketchy business on the board, really. This week has been tough. When the market goes up and down, look at this. When you go up and down this much in a minute over geopolitical speculation, you got to know that, you're trading a tight market. This gets tight, could break out back to what, 63,368? Something like that, and then you get your stop below the 200. This is a trade that starts to kind of call my name. Not going to take it just yet, but like I say, you can't buy a house till you go look at it. I didn't look, it's funny. I rented a house I didn't look at. Actually, I bought a house I never physically went to. But it was on an island that didn't have a lot of inventory, and I wanted to live on that island. So I knew that it was the best I was likely going to get for the time. Funny, I put 4.9. I'm out of my mind, right? 62578. It's like I'm looking at this and I'm writing it. I'm not shying away from ridiculousness. It happens when your mind moves fast. So look, can we get this? So I want to see this right shoulder, but then go sideways. If it goes sideways, I know there's no right shoulder. Still a chance of a right shoulder. Now, what if it just pumps past this and continues to rip? It happens. I just keep waiting patiently. Sometimes then I just wait for the 3-minute to do the thing then. Or the 5-minute. I remember we entered on the 15 too, so that gives us some leeway here. My dad always wore a pocket square even when he didn't work. That's cool, man. See? I'll keep wearing broke people home with old cars that are retrofit drivetrains. Whatever makes you happy, man, that's your style. We're all like recreations of our own movies, movie characters. Like, and my movie, I wear nice clothes all day, live in abundance. I give to people all the time, philanthropy, you know what I mean? That's kind of my idea, Other people are like, I want to wear. But again, don't get me wrong. Here in the vineyard, if you catch me on a regular day, I wake up, when the show ends, I'm going to put on swimsuit and like a water shirt, and I've worn a water shirt and swim trunks literally 90% of the time while I'm here. That's all I wear, man. I'm not walking around like this in the heat. I'm not going out boating like this, right? Bitcoin won't become truly bullish until it makes you believe it's headed toward 42K or even lower. Sorry, 99. I think he's right, too. No, I agree with that. Like, it has to feel like it's not happening. The second it feels like it's not going to happen and everyone loses faith, it's going to pump so damn hard in our faces, people aren't going to be able to breathe. No, you're spot on, CT Corp. C Torp. I mean, I agree with you. That's how it's been every other time. I don't know why it would be any different. Again, it is speculation based on probability. We don't know what this future will bring, says Mark Douglas. And everyone, trading in the zone, very important. Go to Trading in the Zone and check it out. LOL, boating in his suit. Yeah. You should open your mind more to the real reality instead of what's popular in the news. He's saying that to Zombobat. Yeah, that's what I agree. You don't go out in the town in the stream fit? Yeah, sometimes. I do go out in the town. Like maybe I bought a refrigerator the other day. I was dressed nice, or, Back in Sarasota, I stay dapper all the time. It's a little different. I'm out there in Florida, you know what I mean? Like if I go out to dinner at night, yeah, I'm dressing like this. You're going to see me squared up. I'm in a short from 62, waiting for 61. Can we check BOOKMAP? Of course we can. Thank you for asking. Shout out to BOOKMAP. And they had a beautiful July 4th, discount too. That lasted about a week. So look, this says that they do want to take us down to 61,650. And usually when that happens, we can drift down. But the main, look at that, glob. That means there's a bunch of people that have to cover their longs. That's liquidations right there. That is a bunch of long liquidations sitting there. That's that, 1,000 Bitcoin just waiting on the book. So it does say yes, that we want to go lower. Big Red is below us. Doesn't mean we always do it, but it does suggest that we go lower. We'll see. I'm trading what I see. I like the car audio with the sound system more expensive than the vehicle value. Funny. Bought more sats yesterday, not willing to take the risk of missing out on the so-called bottom 40K. I agree with you, man. Shout out to Jets228. I'm with you on that. Florida summer's yum. I'll be back in Florida on August 1st. So last year I got back on like the 8th. Right now in the betting markets, the majority are betting Bitcoin goes below 50K before year end. So for most people, the sentiment is very bearish. Yeah. Sometimes, what makes you the most money? Or what makes you the least amount of money? Usually that's what's right. Like when Donald Trump was going to become the president, if you bet him on Poly Market, you got no money. So to me, the odds were very likely he was going to win. So like whatever pays the least, to me, is the likely outcome. You see what I'm saying? Because people you're not going to, Wait, it's called a swimsuit. So you do suit up. Hey. Always in a suit. You're right. Hey, I mean, let's be honest here. He's in a suit at work. He's in a suit when he plays. The guy is always suited up. Every time. Rave Song Records, when is the next comedian tour? Are you going to be in Milwaukee next? Maybe St. Louis? Where are we seeing you hit the mic? Maybe we should do a duel, a back and forth, like an Abbott and Costello thing. We could work on that together. Fly around the country. So look, this double bottle, it could be a double top now. See how TA works? Anything could be anything as it plays out. Now you want to see this dummy go sideways. You don't. The good thing, it didn't really make the right shoulder. That kind of looks X-nade. And now it looks like we're kind of more headed towards the more likely, wow, this thing is going. It can just continue to rip. Down at the UQ on the 4th, my man. I told myself I need to stop buying Bitcoin when I'm drunk, but then I realized I'm buying Bitcoin, so I guess I can keep drinking. I don't advocate alcohol. I haven't drinking in about 5 years now, coming around this November, but it was 2021 of November. I sipped some wine that November, and I realized I was doing all the research. I realized that they had all these, they bioengineered, and all the hops that they use and all the stuff they use to grow the wine and the berries was all like toxic and had all chemicals on them. You know what I mean? Insecticides and, Monsanto grapes and all this stuff. And then you're sitting there, and so I was sipping the wine, and it was all vinegary, and I was like, what am I doing? Like I research my spin drifts, and I drink these things with no, I make sure there's no citric acid. I go out of my way to, try to drink the healthiest things I can. And then I'm sitting there sucking down some wine. I don't even know what's in it. And I said, this is counterintuitive to who I am as a person. That doesn't make sense. I said, you eat steak. I said, you love to work out 7 days, 6 days a week. You give yourself a Sunday break. I said, you get your heart rate up. You care about yourself. You go outside. You're vibrant. You work out. I said, you love being in nature. I said, and then you're sipping on something that you don't even know. It's one thing if you made your own wine and grew your own grapes, because then at least there's an argument there that, hey, I'm just going, in my mind, I was like, man, how can I drink this stuff? I don't even know where it came from. Yeah. And my friends don't, I don't have friends that drink. My friends don't, most people that, and again, it's okay. If you drink, it doesn't mean I'm not going to be friends with you. But we're not going to hang out at the bar till 3 a.m. And I go to sleep early. I have to wake up by 6:37 in the morning every day. Just last week, I woke up a little late. I think it was Friday. I woke up at 9, and it was I was late, we did the Discord late. Just things weren't perfect. That looks interesting to me. Let me get into the WEEX trade there. That's a pump. That says 90% of the time this is going to break out and pump. It's a good chance this breaks out right now. A very high probability this trade plays out. I like to keep the stop below the 200, but this is what's called the model right now. And so when the dump started this morning, I said to myself, I was like, there's a good chance that the model, we might see the model today because it's Monday and we got good volatility. And it's kind of cool because it's exactly what happened. It's a bit fun when I think about it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. You know what I mean? Because I realized that my show is about the volatility, about the opportunity, about what could be, because we don't know any day what could be. We show up every day looking for the opportunity, just like everyone in the world. No one knows how many people are going to buy food at their restaurant that day. They have an idea, but no one knows exactly. Sometimes you get a leak and 3 tables are shut down and you can't make as much as the day before. And you got to call a guy and a contractor to come fix it. Then you got to shut down for a few hours. And then you look at that week and you're like, that week didn't, if it's a restaurant, I'm just going over a restaurant business without saying it. But you know what I mean? Everyone deals with something, man. Everyone has ups and downs in business. No business is 100% every single time. How you deal with those ups and downs as a CEO, as a founder, is how you really, that's what makes you a businessman. Business is not always perfect. There'll be some years where it's cooking so hot you don't even have, it's like autopilot, man. I've experienced it. And then there's other years where you got to do everything you can to even come up with 30 to 40% of what you used to make. And you got to bust your butt no matter what. But that's life if you want to be in business. Or you can go work for someone and have a paycheck waiting for you. It's up to you. Nobody's forcing anybody to go to work. And when people complain about their jobs, they're complaining to nobody. Because nobody's forcing you to go to your job. I used to complain about my job. I did the same thing. I'm not saying I didn't. Oh, I can't believe my boss did this. I can't believe I got to show up here. And my job was hard, man. I would be on it all night, and if I made one mistake, it could set me back hours again, and I'd have to be there and fix it. I worked a night shift. About, I'd say 90% of the time, I did it great. But there was about 15% of the time in my 6 years of doing it, where like I made a mistake, and I caught it towards the end of my shift, and I was packing up to leave, and I was ready to go, and everything looked good. And I was like, I'm done. This is a good entry right here. I like this entry. You do what makes you happy. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm already in the trade, but I like this entry here. Yeah, we're up about 13% of the trade now. And we will go over that S&P trade, and I'm not, we're going to get into that as well. Still getting a little bit of that. Funny, man. That old, we used to get that back in the day, and then we got rid of it back home. Now I'm getting it again. Some button I gotta press, man. It's like pixelation only on my face. It's when I sent in a higher kilobit per second, it tends to. No, then I see this preview over here on the right looks crispy inside my inside my trading. Like this is how it's supposed to look like, just so crispy. Looks good, don't get me wrong. There's just, when I move my face again, we got that little bit of, it's trying to keep up with the pixels. Anyway, I'm not going to sweat it right now, but it's something I'm definitely going to fix in the next couple, son, what the heck is it? Funny. Wow, nice pump, just as we were supposed to get for Bitcoin. Just as I told you it was supposed to happen. Shout out to anyone that just took a gander on that. Did we get something else? Let's take a look at the True Social. Nope, everything's still kind of the same. But boom, did someone cross the straight Hermes and it worked out? I'm just like, but again, that 21. Again, now do we come down and retrace? What happens here is the question. Knowing exactly when a pump is going to happen is amazing. I've been studying this for years. It's amazing. I'm just telling you, man. Boom, we get the pump, right? It's crazy. Now, can we get the continuation is the question. And let's get the likes up to the watchers. I will greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much to everybody out there. God bless all the traders out there that are learning how to trade. You can use this on any market in the world, folks. We're going to look at the NASDAQ right now for the nasty NAS traders and the S&P futures. I like this Ethereum right here, man. There's bounce right here for ETH. It's in the trading group. It's something I'm paying attention to. It's definitely opportunity on the week. Definitely opportunity on the week. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ, the NQ, the E-minis. I see the NASDAQ making some massive gains soon. It's getting tighter and tighter inside this flag. I feel like it's like a bullpen. It's only a matter of time. And it's going to get tighter in here and tighter, and it's eventually going to break out. Up, down, and I see a pump coming for the NASDAQ. When I see the E-mini futures, it's even more bullish. The NASDAQ's a little more curved down. This is more curved up, more progressive. Very, very bullish to me. I see the S&P, it could come back down there to 75. Like I might go underwater a little bit there, or back to break even. But I see this getting tight up and down and breaking out. I see a big move for the S&P in the coming 40 to 60 days. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. I love to rejoice this day and come back to the stream. Like, remember that day we talked about how the S&P was going to rip and I showed you the trade? All right. There is some bearish sentiment. We've pumped it pretty hard in the last, and let's take a look at kind of what's happening on the bubbles. Oh, that crazy coin. DAXI finally getting a pullback. You'd think it would, but that was the big winner this weekend, man. DAXI pumped to 50. Congratulations. To anyone in the trading group, I gave a great call for Dexy as it continued to pump. I've actually been putting out since it was $3. But shout out to anyone that jumped on into the trading group and got into Dexy. Dexy continued to do damage. Up 54% right there from the call I gave on the 5th of July. That thing just, wow, insane. And it went even higher. It just continued, like, pretty awesome. 37 was the first target. If you could hold on, it continued to pump to 50. Pretty awesome. So BTC, so we pump out, give it back again. I've been seeing this a lot. I tell you, it's like constant. Before, we kind of flagged out. We got a bigger pump. You don't get, it's almost like we don't get the space for the 21 like we used to. On this scale, I think it would be smart to kind of start to bring that stop loss to break even right below the 200 moving average. Because if we lose that 200 on the 1 minute, I feel like it's a wrap. Let's see, though, what I did. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty, we've got some good. See, this wick told me that this was a strong buy. Once this wick closed like this, it told me there's a good chance that wick doesn't get touched anymore. I've been experimenting with candle bodies more than ever and kind of toying with, if I do this, then that, if I do that, then this, and then watching the outcomes. Or, I see, hey, if I did this, then what will happen? And I give it 2 hours. And then I say, okay, candle bodies are very interesting. I looked at them for years. I didn't trade them as much as I did until I went to Singapore about a year and a half ago now, which is crazy. It feels like yesterday. Or no, less than a year ago. It'll be a year this October. Feels like I don't know. It's weird. I don't know, some bear div now. We're kind of starting to, not hold the zones. Let's take a look back at what I'm seeing on the daily. I mean, the daily technically had a tweezer top and a lower high there. Kind of have something like this going now. You've got, you've got to bail us out here. This flag's got to bail us out above the 21. We got to get it curving. When you see if the moving average starts to do this, I mean, this 21 got to curve up. Bring us into price action. Get us tight and then boom. We get a golden cross somewhere here, October or September on the daily. Looking for that 50 to cross the 200. That's good, but when we know we can eventually be like, all right. I'll be honest, Mel, this bearish news the last 3 days has been really putting heavy pressure on Bitcoin. Things were looking good. Bitcoin on its own structurally was starting to build good TA. Without any bad narrative, Bitcoin itself, the technical analysis itself, the narrative was starting to build well. It was creating higher lows, and this bottom here with the divergence is strong. If it ends up dumping and taking out this bull div, then it's like, wow. Because that's some of the strongest bull div I've seen in a long time. I'll be very surprised if we break this low here at 58,000. Because it's something I'm not used to seeing in my life of trading. When you see bullish divergence that strong on the daily, you crack this high and usually get somewhere back to this liquidity zone. I've just seen it time and time again on many assets. It will be weird if we don't get it this time. But you never know. So nice pump of the perpetual. We're, almost the highest we've been in the trade, up $200 of the trade, 16%. It did it before here. Look, it pumped, it retested. It pumped, it retested. So now, look, I just keep doing this. And look, buying on the 21, buying on the 21, buying on or near the 21. Look, pump from there, pump from there, pump from there. It's so interesting how this works. I don't know how it works. It's just programmed into price action. I guess someone started trading this way who ran the market. Someone in the 60s or the 70s started using the 21 and the 200. Then they programmed bots. Then the hedge funds took it. And then that's how the imprint of trading was created. So I learned the skeleton of how they move markets. It's not even my own system. It's just kind of how markets move. I can't even explain or understand it. It's a bit awkward. It's insane, right? So let's get to the likes and to the watches, folks. I don't even know how they do it, but look, this dip from 870 down to 590 out of nowhere. It's weird. So I want you guys, as many people hit that like button. Let's show our presence online so we can defy it all. and continue to push forward. We're the lifers, man. We're not just some random group of people here on stream. We've been here a long time. There's people from all around the world that respect and love me. There's thousands of lifers all around. We're at 107,000 subs and climbing. 639 days until we get the halving, folks. It's going to take some time. And I reject any cookie I can, you know. Yeah, I don't eat cookies. The Bitcoin halving countdown. Track the next Bitcoin halving with live blockchain data from the network. 639 days till the next halving for BTC. So we desperately need a close with a big wick today. And tomorrow at 8 p.m., we need a green close. It's almost like we have to wait till tomorrow night to get real confirmation. This has to close a green candle next to it. Somewhere in this vicinity. And then Wednesday could be a green. Thursday could be a dump. Friday could be even more, you know, and then we can kind of get tight on the weekend. And then it almost says like Monday or Sunday by, you know, we get the break, you know, the real move will happen. So it looks like we're in for some kind of finding. Bitcoin's going to find itself for the next week, as you can clearly see. Once it finds itself, it is ready to go. Boom. We'll start to kind of maneuver our way in and out. So one idea there that starts to make somewhat sense, but we got to get confirmation on the closes. 1 hour time frame. Beautiful bull div. Let's talk about that bullish divergence on the 1 hour. Scout, you know, you could see it clearly. The RSI, number one, hasn't been this low on the 1 hour since we got that, you know, bad news dumps at the beginning of July. So these are like, it takes a lot of dumpage to get like pretty substantially below the dotted line on the 1 hour. We do go lower sometimes with the div, but we made that div there, and we did go lower on the higher RSI. So see, the RSI goes low, you get the major sell-off. You think that's it, but then you get a secondary sell-off lower than the price, which creates a higher movement in the RSI. That's called divergence. That's where they liquidate. That's the liquidations happening in front of you. Looks like some trouble in paradise here as I looked at that 1 hour time frame. And trading is hard. It's not easy. It's the easiest hard way to make money in the world. You can do it from your house. You can do it any day, and some days aren't great. I've been bouncing back. You know, if I take a L, I bounce back. This has been very harsh trading. Day trading is very harsh on the low volume week, you know, summer months. But there's also good volatility and good rewards on some many days. We've had some great pumps. Like this was awesome last week. Everything worked in our favor. So I wanted to see this thing pump. It was looking good. We were starting to flag out. I traded this flag. I was looking for, you know, but again, so did the whole world. And they, you know, there was a stop hunt waiting technically in a way. But I even said to everyone, I'll get stopped out because I have to trade my style. I can't back away from my style when I think everyone else is trading. I got to continue to do the same thing over time. That makes it, you know, you got to stick to what you're doing no matter. That's the hardest part of trading. And that's why most people don't make money, because they change up their style out of nowhere. Once it stops working, they change it up. They don't give it years to really put in that work. That takes mental toughness. You got to stick to it. And that's why most people don't make it through. Trading is not for everyone. A lot of people will get beat down by the boredom of it. They'll say, oh, a boring market is almost hard as a down market. People are like, this is so boring. Like this weekend was complete sideways price action. Very little volume. Right? There's nothing you could do about it. It is what it is. That's what happened. You know what I mean? There's just nothing you can do about it. Just wanted to see if we get this bounce off this key area, what my next level is on BOOKMAP. I wanted to bring BOOKMAP back out. Here we go. It was just underneath something. Okay, so BOOKMAP suggesting that we could still go down to 62,000. You know what I mean? But consolidated a lot of the levels. There's some level down there, but it's saying, hey, if we do get a rip down, 62K looks like we could get a pretty good reversal. Not only is Big Red a place where we go to, but it's also a good place for reversals, right? Because that's where all that liquidity is. And so you want to remember, remind yourself of that too as well. Not only is it a great place, you know, you don't want to trade against it, but it's also a good place for reversals. So BOOKMAP suggests that we do go lower, that this is a failed rally that really won't play out. We'll see. To me, I just observe price action and let it tell me what the probabilities are. There is going to be probabilities in the charts. Whether you make a head and shoulder pattern, an ascending triangle, a double bottom, there's going to be a message there. Like today, I found that weird. I found this twisted diamond, and I knew it came in, and it broke out. And then we found this inverted head and shoulder kind of diamond, and we started looking at it on the 30-second and moving deeper in, right? Sorry, not the 10-day. So back to the weekly here. We do not want to see the weekly close below the 200 moving average. We can mess around in this area all we want, though. It's so, and even kind of tempt on that wick at 61.5. I'd like us not to break that wick on the last weekly candle, though. And we can, attempt to reverse out of here. 5-day, doesn't look horrible. It closes in 1 day, and, tomorrow night we'll find out. 3-day did put a bullish, a bearish candle there. It's not amazing right now. It's kind of like, I wanted to see a bigger pump up towards that 21. We do have bull div that's strong. We got to crack this high. And it's the same thing on the daily. And I think the daily is really it's the time frame to watch. The daily loses the 21, it's one of these. If it keeps the 21 and goes sideways, it's one of these. Boom. The 21 is going to teach us a lot. If a daily candle closes below this white line like that, I believe we should be looking more bearish. The bullish divergence suggests that that's just not going to happen. Bullish divergence on the daily is very rare. You have bullish divergence here. You have bullish divergence here. You have bullish divergence here. Bigger picture, little picture, medium picture, it's all there. So the fundamentals are set in place. I think they're just kind of liquidity grabbing here to create negative sentiment. Or that's just how the world even looks at it. I mean, it might be, could be no one masterminding this. This is just how it is. Like some days there's a storm. It's rainy that day. What we really desperately don't want to see is you don't want to see the 8-hour take out this low. That happens. That's the first thing that I would say, okay, now you start looking for bear flags on the 15 and the 5. You start shorting the market. At that time, the daily will also start losing the 21. These things will come into conjunction with each other. So it's right in daily 21 moving average. 8-hour. You don't want to see the 8-hour close below the opening of this green candle here, which was 61.7. You close below 61.7, you know the 8 hours collapsing on you. You didn't hold this trend line. You know there's no real hope of us getting tight. This, we stay above that level. There's the consolidation is in there, and the move up is always on the table. See how the pattern staying in form is teaching us what to do. The 4 hours holding the 200 moving average. It got back above it. That's a very good place to be. Let's see if this thing can kind of do business here and stay in the grind. And look, that's going to take some time. Hold shift to go sideways. With the plus sign, you can't be on a marker or a paintbrush. 42 bar. I mean, that could take 7 days. It could take 4 days. You see, that's why I said it looks like next Monday could be when we actually get a bigger breakout. This could be a nice week of sideways price action. And I'm willing to believe that. We went over how treachery the week is. Tomorrow, core CPI at 8:30. Fed Chair Warsh testifies at 10:30. Like, it's all coming. And they're going to hit them with, all this stuff. Yeah. Core PPI comes in. Right? And Warsh testifies again. He testifies both days. That's going to be great, right? And then retail sales month over month and unemployment claims. And Friday, we finally get a moment to breathe. But it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week of insane volatility. Data that moves the markets at the speed of light. A lot of, look at this dumpage. The yields are tight today. This market is sketchy business. They make it tight to hold the longs. They make it tight. But look at the shorts got walloped this morning. A lot of shorts didn't know what to do. Didn't take their gains at the lows. Now they're kind of juggling. 63,200. Can we continue this level to the upside? Anything is possible. I don't know. To me, it looks more like it's going to break us down and head down to that liquidity. I like the story that BOOKMAP is teaching us and telling us, and it says 62,000 is coming for BTC. Damn, barely holding 2Ks. We did move that stop loss to break it. We can't lose. That might be the only thing that happens today on the show there. We just get clipped for nothing. Hope you watched the top-down macro analysis video we put out every single week. And I held you down, showed you kind of what's happening there. I like that video. It puts things into perspective. Even for me, like, I'll get a little, I'll think about something too much. I'll look at that and I'll be like, you know what? Here's the broader picture. This is what I'm seeing. This is where we're going. Let's take a look at the entire market. Was there anything that kind of is defying the odds today? Jupe has been interesting, but down 9% in 7 days. Up 5% in 24 hours, though. So getting a little bit of a move in 2%. Something's going on with Jupe a little bit there. It's holding gains for whatever reason at 21. I don't know if they cut supply or something. Jitto, that was kind of interesting. Didn't look amazing. Still doesn't. Back to 49 for Arrow. It gets bumped, but it always kind of hangs. VVV, I like it for a long-term hold there at that 10. Yeah, but nothing too crazy. It's not like, we got to wait for the dust to settle here on Monday. Solana holding 75 is nice. Stable coin. Let's take a look at Stable. I've traded it on and off. Put it out to the group here and there. I really think the S&P is like one of the better plays, better than some of the crypto plays right now. I don't know, like the Stable looks like the S&P a little bit. It's interesting how like we just went the S&P and then you see Stable. But yeah, I've had a long for Stable open for days now. Or showing you guys. Let's take a look. Don't even need it when I got it right there, right? It's like, I mean, that looks bullish to me. There's something going on with this. It looks better than the rest of the market. It's consolidating on the 21 above the 200. I mean, it looks great. Look at the 12-hour, the 22. I mean, that looks really nice. Maybe they stop hunt, like I said. Like lighter, they did it. You know what I mean? It's a chance. There's a chance, but you can kind of go deep. For whatever reason, this looks better than the rest of the market. And that's what happens. You scan, and then you see a coin that looks better than the rest of the market. Then you speculate on it, you watch it, and if you see an entry, you take it. You don't buy whatever you want. You buy the higher probability idea that gives you some type of sense that there's a chance it's going to win based off backtesting. That's why if you haven't backtested, you can't do that, because you don't even know that alone. It doesn't work. It all comes into play. The more effort and time you put into your trades, the more it comes into play. All right. Look at this tightness now. Can we get the bounce? Let's take a look at what happened to BTC. Okay, looking for a bounce here off the 200 moving average. Again, you cross it, you bounce off of it. If we get the bounce, we go sideways, continue. If you want to trade where you trade, you get the link to trade on WEEX. Every single day, baby, 7 days a week. It's open for your trading needs. You can also buy spot Bitcoin there. All sorts of fun stuff. Trade TradFi. Right here, look, they got TradFi, spot, favorites. I stick to my Bitcoin trades mainly. I am in an S&P trade right now on the S&P futures. I showed you why. We went over the S&P. It kind of broke it down for you. So you saw that as well. Okay. Let's take a look there. Interesting. Now, ANSEM. It was supposedly carrying the market. Memes were the number one thing. It was amazing. Had a nice pump. Made it to 259, a quarter a bill. In a billion is kind of the stack. If it hits a billion, then people think maybe it can get bigger, right? It since has double bottomed. Look at it on the daily. And you know what's crazy is Fibonacci's do work on these memes. You pull the fib and you can see it came right down to that 618 fib. It very close to it. Bounced. So it's hit the fib, but it is making a lower high. Let's take a look at it on the 4 hour. I didn't trade any of this. I'm not saying, I just like to, if memes come back, it tells you something. Like, I'm just speculating on the market's health. And I'm like, if a speculative asset like this can break out and do damage, then there's a chance there's more for everybody to eat. And it just gives us an indication of what's happening. So even though it's a high risk number, and I'm not promoting it, I'm not telling you to buy it, I didn't buy it. It seems to be flagging out on the 1 hour. Like it broke out. It's kind of watching Bitcoin. It got a little bit of a pump when Bitcoin reversed there. Now it's not sure what the market's doing. Somewhat of a double bottom here. Strong support about 1819. Could be a place, you get in here. If it breaks that, then you know it's a wrap. And then it could head up back to a new all-time high there at about 53 cents. If Bitcoin can hold, but Bitcoin is such the story behind everything. Look at that, all the way back down. So pump and all the way back down. Turn it into a nothing burger yet again here. And this is treachery on the trades. The summer months, man. The summer months will make you so tough, and they'll make you an amazing trader in the better months. You'll be like, man, I remember when these actually, oh my God, what? Trading works? So they stop hunting me there. I got out the break even there. I wanted to see it do what I want. What I want to trade the market I want, not the market I get. You understand? Or the market I desire. So I paint the market that I want to see, and I look for that market. Yeah. So everyone keep hitting that like button. They're doing something funny to me today here with these see these low volume moves down. I don't know what's going on. But keep hitting that like button. Keep pumping it up. I appreciate each and every one of you for jumping on in and being absolutely amazing. And may God bless you for being awesome. It means the world to me. This market has been tough. So chop, 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 chop a lot. But big things do come from the calm before the storm a lot for Bitcoin. Now the 1 minute saying no way. This is when I kind of reassess. 11:45, 15 minutes till candle close on the 4 hour. All right. I mean, did I or did I not call the bottom? There's a chance I could have left it where it was on that 15. We technically are in. We're still just making a higher low. We technically may have called the low. There was a good div there. Man, Monday had me a little so I didn't want to sit. Looks kind of like a very M pattern-esque to me too. Double bottom. I feel like you lost a trend line. You try to play with it, it's little extended. Looks a bit odd, honestly. Not my favorite type of look. If anything, I see it more of a bearish retest of the 45-degree angle that we had cooking. I'd say you got to get back inside the pattern or you got a problem. Bull dip there, though. And that's kind of what what got me cooking in the first place. Previous resistance is a big support there down at 61.8. We get the bounce. I'd like to see this invert head and shoulder or some type or something. Four hours gotta basically dig so deep and it's gotta get back above that 200. So that's what I'll say. It's a 45 on the 4 hour. If it can get back above the 200, there's a chance that it's just a little liquidity grab and we bounce back. I'm looking for that. I believe there's a pretty nice trade there. If you got into the 15, you could stay in it. You don't have to do what I did and move the stop loss to break even. You could stay in that, Bobby. There's a chance we nail that bottom. Looks sketchy to me right now, though. 4 hour to me is kind of the time frame. This is going to close right now below the 200 in 15 minutes. And when that close happens, then we need to build another tweezer bottom back up. Otherwise, look at the gap of the VRVP. You're headed back to 60,000, right? Crazy. And then you break 60,000, who knows? Let's take a look at BOOKMAP and see what BOOKMAP is providing. It's still telling us 62K has a glob of liquidity below us and that we're likely going to go lower. So be careful. High or low for the bounce? Man. I become immune to price action because if you let it get to you, like, it'll ruin your day. It really will. Like, so much ups and downs and so much uncertainty. You just got to take what's there and be cool with the present moment in time. Can you dig out of this? Bounce off that. Can the 1 hour hold the 200 moving average? I mean, the 1 minute. Epic buys right there have been made. So I become a hero right now, and nah, not on a Monday, but it does, I wouldn't be surprised we get the bounce. Let's just zoom into this for a second. If I were to be try to break the 200, we seem to kind of fighting chance to hold it there. Considering we got rejected by it, we broke back up. We got, you can catch a falling knife on the 1 minute. You can catch a falling knife on the 4 hour. You can catch a falling knife on the daily. That has a lower target too. You don't have to be so big shot there. I don't like it. I'm not touching it. I don't think I'm going to trade big until later on Monday night. I usually just leave it alone. I've learned my lesson, folks. Short or long, they can get you either way. Low liquidity on Monday and not low, not even low. Sometimes it's the most volume, but it's called False Move Monday for a reason, man. And it's a false move. Like, they play you for a fiddle on Mondays, bro. The best setups can get torched. I've seen it so many times in my life. $21 playing games here. Yeah, it really comes down to that 4 hour. The 4 o'clock close is going to tell us a lot. At 4 o'clock, a possible trade could happen. If we get this tweezer bottomed at 4 o'clock, we get two wicks next to each other, and this is a green candle, we have ourselves a moment there. It could be just like this. We did a tweezer bottom below the 200 and we got the bounce. It's still a higher low. Remember that, folks, from Wednesday, July 8th of 61.61. 61.61, not 61.61. 61.61. No. 61.61. No. 61.61. Not 61.61. See, 61.61. Isn't that interesting? That's how I know we live in a simulation. Something's going on. I can smell it. Anyway, we're being hit by a lot of different things right now. Today is just a lot of bearish sentiment on risk assets. Not just Bitcoin. It's just the way the money moves around the world for risk assets. Follow my X, follow my posts, follow my videos. I put out a lot of, like the ones I put out yesterday, to kind of keep you up to date with what's happening. I'm going to have that stuff for you every single day, so pay attention to that. There's liquidity moving. There's ETFs. Again, like I have a video where I teach you when the ETFs finally break 200 million in a day, a couple of days, that tells us that there could be support at that region. Notoriously, every time the ETFs did that, after a long sell-off, they hit their $200 million day, we've had basically a bottom for Bitcoin. So it's a kind of a cool way. It's another way to read the data now. Now that we've entered the market, they've put more spots on the leopard that we can see. You see? So that's another thing we can use to our advantage. High or low for the bounce? Can we crack through this topping area here at 64.5? Can we get tight? And like I said, it might go tight for a week. Summer months are for chop and figuring out where we're going. So then when we finally get to the good months, we can move. Hey, we pumped from July 1st all the way till July 7th. We've had a good, so far it's been good, man. 57,000 back up to 64. That was a good pump. We made some good money. We made some good money this time here. Remember, I made 10 grand doing this in a week from the 8th from last Friday, right there, the 3rd, to that Friday there, the 10th. I made good money here. I took advantage of a lot of these pumps. Even had a little bit of a short here and there. So not huge, but a little, And I wanted this flag to break out. It did not. It's kind of that simple. Like, my trading style is pretty obvious. And you can see, could they stop hunt? There was a chance. It was an ascending triangle. I felt it. I was like, man, what if they... I was like, but what if they pump it too? And I wake up to a massive pump. I mean, it could have gone either way. Every time you wake up, you act like, oh, I knew for sure. Nobody knew for sure. You traded probabilities. And you didn't get lucky. You showed up and you prepared, and you either did or did not do something. If you did something, you got paid. If you did nothing, you didn't. Like, it's like, or if you did, or if you did something and still lost, or you did something and didn't get, it's like you find out who you are by waking up every day and taking action. Some days you don't get the best results. Some days it doesn't happen the way you wanted it to happen. Doesn't mean you don't show up the next day and put your best foot forward. It means you keep coming up every single day. I mean, baseball is a great example of not giving up. People strike out all the time and they keep fighting. I told you that was a great entry there, 394, 400, and we've been pumping ever since. Even talked about this little flag here because it was above the 200 on the 21, and we pumped, came back, pumped, and wow, Zcash doing what it does. I look at Zcash on like the weekly too. The bigger time frame, the better. And if you look at it on the weekly, it's like consolidating. Wouldn't be surprised if that wicks up and it pumps and goes sideways. But it just tells me over time. And then look, if it says like October or November that's like it's lined up for the breakout for risk on assets. And then you go to 1350. And there you have it. Long-term idea. It takes time. Got to work the channel, work the system, We saw a little bit of a pump recently in TIA, in the Adams, Celestia. Probably got rocked again, but we'll see. Let's just see. Yeah. It was pumping on the daily, was it? I was supposed to double click and yeah, there it is. Wow, it still looks good. For whatever reason, it's consolidating nicely. Hey, I do own some of this still on the Kepler, in Kepler staking or whatever, but so yeah, and I guess I own some of it. But man, see the tightness? I could see this breakout. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. But man, that could break out. Look, I got the red tie on, red day, man. You gotta represent. Dude, we got another one of these low spikes today. It was there, it disappeared, but it was like it dipped down to like 720. I don't know if I trust the numbers today. Sometimes YouTube fumbles the numbers. I don't know why, but God, YouTube, you do a great job 99% of the time. But sometimes you don't do the best with the numbers. Resurgent Iran hostilities weigh on Bitcoin despite ETF demand. Fresh U.S.-Iran airstrikes and statements that the ceasefire is over pressured Bitcoin lower even as spot ETF flows indicated ongoing demand. Oil rose while risk assets including crypto saw selling. Bitcoin has shown relative resilience compared to some traditional markets in recent geo-flares, though. See? June CPI and Moore's testimony tomorrow. Like, the market's already kind of beginning to price this fearing. U.S. 10-year climbs towards 4.6 on oil inflation. The benchmark 10-year yield rose to around 4.59 on Monday as oil spiked on Mideast tensions. Bond markets are reassessing the persistence of inflation pressures. High real yields raise the opportunity of cost of holding non-yielding assets like Bitcoin and can trigger risk-off flows across financial markets. See, people are like, wow, like, you know what I mean? If I can get this much on my money, then, Japan, the Philippines, the United States, and 11 other countries issued a joint statement on the 10th anniversary of the 26 arbitral ruling, reaffirming that China's expansive maritime claims have no legal basis and the award is final and binding. China rejected it as a waste paper, summoned Japan's envoy, and blamed outside powers for tensions. This underscores ongoing Indo-Pacific frictions. Traders should note it as a background risk for trade routes and China-related assets. And Germany funds 50,000 attack drones for Ukraine. Germany is financing a roughly 90 million euro order of 50,000 strike FPV drones made by Ukrainian firm Skyfall, with Algerian software and one of the largest such Western packages. So Germany getting in there. I don't know how Russia feels about that. We'll see. It may not be the best, right? So anyway, as it gets more, just escalate more pain and anguish and more war around the world, man. Like, it's crazy. Russia, crazy. It's all, I just wish people didn't want to hurt other people, man, with military apparatuses. It's sad. The human race is so smart, and we build so many beautiful things, and half the tech we use is to kill each other. Like, this can see infrared for what? So you can see a human? Why would I need to see a human? You know what? Yeah, it's like, it's got to be weird inside of when they're like, when they're at, remember, imagine pitching one of those things. Look, here's this dip that keeps happening. I want to show you. I keep getting these little, like, but then they, like, disappear out of nowhere and come back up. Something crazy is going on. It's a conspiracy. I'm telling you over here. It's a conspiracy. Wow, I mean, rejection, this, you could get a death cross here, too. Like, so if this is bearish, what it's going to do is it's going to turn into that descending triangle, man. One of these. You know what I mean. I'm going to a sunny place. Know what I mean. I mean, bull div there should bounce us. It's so strange to see strong bull div like that on the 1 hour and get no reaction. That's odd. Want to see this wick back. I don't know. It's looking bearish. If this fills out a descending triangle, we're going to dump. If it can somehow get the inverted head and shoulder and save us. 1 minute's got to get back above the 200 and do the thing. Otherwise, it looks like it's going to collapse down. I mean, it looks like it's making a descender. Look at the 1 minute right now. Inside a descending triangle, is it not? Looks like it wants to dump further down, somewhere to 62.2. And then that's what BOOKMAP suggests, that we're going lower. BOOKMAP suggests we go down to 62,000. We take out the lows. Dang, man. Could be a double bottom. We're going to, got to see that 200 hold on the 1 minute right now. So crucial. We got the model. We got the bump. We got the breakdown. Look at this possible double bottom off the two. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Kind of cup and handling. In the next 3 minutes, it'll tell us if it starts to collapse or bounce. The price action's it's that fickle based on a pattern. If the pattern shows up hard, people will jump on it. It'll start to move the way it's supposed to. If the pattern shows up the other way, people will short on it. They start to dump the way it's supposed to. I've watched this for years. It's confusing until you understand it and watch it play out time and time again. Then you'll be like, hey, that's what goes on. I've seen it so many times in my life. Anyway, may God bless every one of you for being here today on this beautiful, still kind of a vacation holiday. I'm sure people are still off. It's only a week and a couple days from the 4th. I'm sure a lot of people have bounced out, take their families places. So, it's beautiful July almost everywhere in the world. And the Northern Hemisphere, it's summertime, man. So it's winter in other places, I get it, but in most parts of the world, in America, it's summer, Europe, right? So God bless you all. Thank you so much for being here every single day. Didn't get an amazing winning trade, but we fought through pretty good. Did get a bit of a pump if you got in, and you may be able to fall through. I'll keep you up to date with what happens today in the trading group as what I'm seeing here right now on this channel. But it's been hard right now for risk on assets. It's Monday. And if you're trading with me in the trading group, no, I start to kind of get more active Monday night, where I start to see what's happening. But if I see anything, this double bottom's looking okay. Right now, for the inter-time being, it looks like we may get this bounce back up off the 200. We shall see, folks. And remember, the 4-hour candle is big at 4 o'clock. We obviously closed a red one. We need to see this basically dump first. You want to dump first. You don't want to pump first like that. That's not good on the 4-hour. You want to dump a little bit. You want to hit this moving average and bounce back up. In the next hour, we want to see a wick back on this 4-hour. Otherwise, it's collapse zone. Does look kind of at him, and it looks a little bare. That's kind of double toppy down to like 59, 60K. Let's watch the 1 minute. Ooh, just took a turn for no good. Like that looks descending now. All I know is with, faith in God and myself, somehow I'm going to make it through this insane time in the market. I've done it many times in my life when I didn't know what was going to happen, and I made it through. So I got to have faith. There's no other way to begin. Wow, even the S&P trade doesn't look good anymore. Everything kind of looks blah. They're dumping these risk on assets. Look how that looks like it's going to go down. I'm going to get rid of this for now because I'm not long on it. I mean, shoulder, head, right shoulder made a lower high. Attempted a double bottom and closed the candle below the low. They're dumping that thing to 62.4 now. Big red is below us down at 62,000. Look out below for BTC. See if those next lows hold. You can see, and then we'll attempt this again. In the afternoon, we'll crack the 200 on the one. And this repeats over and over again, this behavior. And we just keep trading it. Maybe this bounces off a bull div and gets back above. And we're ripping in an hour. You never know. Like, you got to be ready and willing to take it in and trade it as it comes. That's very difficult for most people to even understand. Never mind do it. But anyway, I love you all. God bless each and every one of you. The secret to success is getting started and pushing forward every single day. Some days stink. Some days are tight. Some days aren't perfect. Some days are amazing. But you work hard every single day. You put God first. You say thank you. You stay in the present moment and you keep pushing. And you got to start somewhere. The secret to success, I'm telling you right now, is getting started. You got to start somewhere in anything you do, and you're going to make it. I love you all. Have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself. Stay away from negative people. Keep positive people in your life. Keep pushing. You can, you will. You are the best. I love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for your viewership. It means the world to me. God bless.